could be up to 40,000.
But these two are together, right? You're just saying that if both, or the three landowners agreed, then this could be the board's cost, right?
Correct.
If.
Because they would have to do
Yeah.
the appraisal and pay for the land. They would also have to do a survey, and that is part of our in-kind cost.
Okay.
If the board wanted that sidewalk and the willing landowners, and that's the key. Existing grant, you all asked me about the existing grant. The Department of Highways, I think, will grant permission to change the scope of the project. It would show in good faith effort if we built a sidewalk from the existing grant connecting the bridge walkway to the school sidewalk. You know, there's kind of a sidewalk along the bridge, right on the bridge. It goes across to the school, ends with the bridge. They said, if we use this money that we have now to go to the connect with the school sidewalk, so you would go up on the same side of the, where it is now, the bridge, then you'd have a crosswalk somewhere around the primary care center, that sidewalk, and enter the building, enter that sidewalk. If we did that, that would go a long ways in showing a good faith effort to apply for the $200,000 grant.
Well, I'm lost.
You
Where
got
are
this.
we talking about?
You know where the bridge is.
I've lost my bridge.
You know the bridge
Yeah,
now.
yes,
The bridge has an elevated sidewalk on it.
correct.
And now if you're walking along the sidewalk to the high school,
Oh, okay, I thought you said primary care center. Okay.
that's where I'm going. If you go down to, on the right side, there's no sidewalk. So you go around the curve, right? Keep going around the curve there, and then you're going to see a sign where to the left it says primary care center.
On the campus.
Oh, on the campus, okay.
Then there's a crosswalk there.
The health clinic, the school health clinic, not the primary care
Oh,
center.
health clinic.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what I did.
I was on Route 3,
Oh.
okay.
Please do.
No wonder you were confused. I see why.
Thanks, Sean.
It's been a rough day, okay?
Well, no, that's wrong direction. The healthcare center, school healthcare center. You would cross there and then get on the sidewalk. And then they said that in good faith effort, if we did that, that'd go a long way in getting this $200,000 grant if we applied.
Now this,
Using what money?
The $100,000
Okay,
current.
so this is the old grant.
Yeah, remember
The
to change the
existing
scope of the
I
existing
got you.
grant.
I'm with you.
this would just go a long ways toward getting this 200,000 for the
Correct.
walkway on the other side of the
Good
road.
faith effort.
That
they call
requires
it.
that the landowners approve.
Correct.
A good faith effort on whose part?
Our part.
But they're giving us $100,000 to do it.
Really, they're giving us 80,000. The county commission is giving 20,000, if you recall.
Correct. But I
I'm
mean, it's good
moving on.
faith effort.
If we use that money for the sidewalk.
Okay, I'm with
In other words, if we just say we don't want it, that's not a good faith effort to complete what we need to complete. Because we're saying in that grant that we needed a walking bridge for the safety of the kids, right? And here you're dumping them off and you don't even have a sidewalk from the end of the bridge to our school sidewalk. So they're saying if you do that, it'll go a long way in getting this other grant. If you have willing owners and an agreeable board,
But the
willing owners of the land to sell
you. For the second grant.
it, yes.
existing 100,000 would be for the
Sidewalk.
campus branch
Correct.
or campus path.
Yes,
Okay.
only. Now, if we applied for the new grant, it would have to be by 11/15/10. So there's a lot of work to be done. If the owners agree, which is in doubt, and then you have to go through the appraisal and everything else. Now, this last bullet, I want you to understand, this is from my perspective, my understanding, and it is not guaranteed what will happen at the county commission. I want to make sure that's clear. This is what potentially might happen. The county commission's agenda, this is on, the bridge is on the commission agenda for 10/17, that's this Thursday. They plan to vote to ask for the 20,000 that they had given for this effort in the original grant of 100,000. 20,000 is theirs. So they're gonna ask for it back to be refunded.
From the Department of Transportation?
Correct.
Okay.
It is my understanding that they plan to take the refunded 20,000, add another 80,000 of county commission's money to come up with a total of 100,000. They then, if they do this, then they would ask this board to match that 100,000. So, and then they would like to put that money towards a new facility, football facility, stadium at Lincoln County High School. And again, the last bullet, please do not hold me to this, because they could vote many different ways. I'm just thinking this is the way it's going to come down.
So do we know the total cost of the stadium?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was asked of me last meeting. And when we said total cost, all I did was call and ask for a materials figure, materials only. Absolutely no labor for installing bleachers or anything, just materials. It was $2 million. Now that is to build a stadium like you're seeing when you visit other new school facilities.
Is that the stadium on the architectural drawings that we have? That's the materials for that stadium?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, does that include bleachers or some type of?
Includes
seating?
bleachers, it includes facilities building, for dressing rooms, restrooms, concession stand, you name it that goes with the stadium.
What about groundwork?
Track.
Get everything ready?
That is not cost,
That's not the materials?
no, sir.
Okay.
But we have work to do that, yes.
An inside track?
I think,
A real track on the field?
yes,
Okay.
that's included. Now, there is understanding from other people that I've gotten word from that there is a possibility of getting additional money for things. And at that, whenever, and I'm saying things like bleachers and other things, and whenever I'm, able to comment more on it with more details, I'll share that with you. But there are a lot of things out in there that I think are ready to come our way from the state level with some funds. And you can't ask me anything else because I don't know who specifically, how much, and so forth. But it'll go a long way in helping us achieve the goal. Having said that, do I have any questions? And I apologize for my misuse of the primary care center. It's the Panther. If I said Panther Primary Care Center, we could have gotten it. Any questions from anyone?
We're gonna have to consider this.
Well, I think what we need to do is, I mean, it is something to consider. I think we need to wait till after Thursday to see what they do. See which way they're going to go as far as the money. Yeah. I mean,
Because
as
we,
far as, starting to secure funds.
and if
Yeah,
we
we have to
wanted
find
to
out what
build
to
the
do.
path over to the school, if this is true, then we would come up with $20,000 for our in-kind to go with this grant.
Well, here's the thing, this is where I'm at, I'll go ahead and tell you all, this is where I am on the walkway, the track and everything, and I called, actually after the meeting that we had the other night, I called the administration at the school, because my big concern, it was one thing that I kept thinking about, and reflecting on, was the safety for students. And I was under the impression that there was people walking to school. I talked to the administration at the school. They informed me that there was 0 children that are walking to school, none. And they actually said, I said, "Are you sure?" They said, "Listen, there's nobody that comes into school." Okay. As far as the closed campus, everything's closed at the campus. Whenever you have to sign in, you have to sign out to leave. You can't do it on your own. So, I mean, as far as people coming in, you know, children that are walking to school, we do have buses, we do have policies. One thing I was concerned about was the football games. You know, after school, you have, you know, when there's a football game out at Hamlin, you have a flood of kids that are going to a football game, they're staying after school. And I'll, you know, one of the things that I would suggest, and I'm sure that the principal, the administration, the superintendent, I'm sure they could work this out, is that maybe, I mean, we do have an auditorium, let's have a movie night. I mean, after school, if there was something that we could do to watch a movie and then bus those students to the game, just like a pep bus, just like you did back in the old days. And then after, you know, we bus them there, and then boom, we don't have the problem with walking, you know, to the ball games. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I don't, you know, you can shoot them down, whatever you want to do, but, you know, and then the parents can pick the students up from the football games after the games are. But that would alleviate the need for any type of, you know, spend a lot of money, and as far as grants and different things like that on a walkway, you know, up that way. And there's a lot of effort. I know there has to be a ton of effort that goes in with, you know, the stuff that they are doing to try to find out what, you know, what grant we can apply for, what we can do, you know, scopes and all these different things. I think what we need to do is concentrate on trying to secure money for these facilities. I mean, the football field, and then that would relieve that problem that we have with people walking over there to football games. As far as if there are people that are walking to school that maybe the administration is not aware of, then maybe we can set some type of policy. You know, if you don't drive to school, you know, you ride the bus, and that would kind of sequester the need for all this money for a walkway. And I mean, I just looking at it from the amount of money that we would have to have. That's it. And I mean, you know, I think it would be a great thing to have, you know, a walkway, you know, from the school all the way to Hamlin. But I just think we're asking for too much money. And I don't think that there's a safety issue there if we can actually go through, you know, just using policy and being smart about it with our administration and the things that we can provide. Because we do have a huge auditorium there. They can show movies. You know, you can get stuff together for the football game. There's a lot of stuff that kids like to do. And it just seems to me like that would probably be the best way to go. Now, I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Trust me, I'm wrong a lot. But I just think that maybe we can look at another avenue instead of going this route. And I think maybe the new football stadium, if we can concentrate our efforts there, I think that would really help us out. As far as the return on investment later on down the road, and getting everything there on campus to have a Lincoln County High School. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Mr. Roach about, I don't know much about construction, but usually they, sort of a yardstick is whatever the materials are, it's at least that much in labor.
Yeah.
So are we looking at, in your opinion, $4 million at least for a football stadium?
No. And I'll tell you why, except for the bleachers. You know, if they get them pretty high up, I don't know how many rows, but sometimes go pretty high. That may have to be done by professionals. But the people that, you know, we've even talked to, and this is prior to all you all, this was like last year, about the earthwork for the field, that we were going to get people to do that. If you notice, the soccer field and the two baseball and softball, all we did was pay for materials. All that is volunteers.